Hello again everyone, Lucas Berry here for White Oak Rail, and today is the first really nice weather day in West Virginia in what feels like forever. After what can only be described as a frigid and snow-filled January, we have finally warmed up and the sun has come out. So, what do? I go out and I shoot trains. I'm actually trying to get something that I had wanted to get before it started snowing. I just never really got out to do it. And that is the defect detector at Cotton Hill. And I originally planned to go across the river at Cotton Hill and record it. I wasn't really thinking about filming the train. Then I thought, you know what? Film the train. Well, there's not really a place to do that at Cotton Hill. Because if you go to the track level, you're pretty much trespassing on CSX property, and I'm not going to do that. And you can stand across. There's a bridge there, a highway bridge, and you can stand on it, but I'm not about to do that. So the only place for me that I could hear it would be Hawk's Nest. So I'm going up on the overlook. I'm going to film Amtrak 50 coming through here, and see if we can hear that defect detector spit out the stats on Amtrak 50. I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say because I've heard it, a million times in other locations. I have an app on my phone where I listen to the scanner feeds down in the Russell, Huntington, and Charleston area, and I listen to it at 51 coming through here when they do. So it's not like I haven't heard it, but it's still kind of cool that I really want Cotton Hill to kind of add to my collection. I have Sewell back in June when the old defect detector was still in. Then I have Slater's Creek from the new ones they installed at some point after June. I don't know when they did it. And then hopefully to get Cotton Hill. So just trying to add to my collection of defect detector recordings. I love those things. They're so interesting to me. So here we go to Hawks Nest State Park, the overlook here, at about milepost CA 408 or thereabouts.
As soon as I got there, the scanner lit up with a call to the dispatcher. I couldn't figure out why Amtrak would be calling dispatch, but it wasn't them. It was the signal maintainer requesting track time.
Dispatcher, FH maintainer Bradbury here, sir. Got to do ground tests in the OS here at Cotton Hill. Wanted to see if I could pick up number 1 track and number 2 track. WAS Golly to WAS Cotton Hill for about 45 minutes with local control. You can put that in ATM? No, sir. Do not have the capability of doing ATM. Call me behind 50. He's there between Canal Falls and Mount Carmel heading your way. Sounds good. I'll holler at you then.
With that plan sorted out, both the maintainer and I waited for 50. About 10 minutes of waiting and I heard Amtrak calling Cotton Hill, followed by what I came for, the defect detector.
5001, locomotive 105, east on number 2, clear Cotton Hill.
FX detector, milepost 411.1, track main 2, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 2, 4. Detector out.
That's no defects, Amtrak 50.
That second voice you heard was the conductor, and I have to be honest, I did not expect to hear the conductor from where I was standing. You have to be very close to hear it. I was very lucky. Now Amtrak is coming up here on track 2, and as I stated in an earlier video, track number 1 is out of service. So if you stand on the overlook, you will never see a train crossing Hawks Nest Bridge again. But you will see it heading up the south side of New River towards South Fayette, which is where I filmed the introduction for the Things You Don't See Everyday video. It was there on New Year's Eve where I had the fortune of catching Amtrak and 2 coal trains. And we'll get there right after we watch 50 pass here on this rather chilly but still nice out compared to what it has been day.
Charlie on 1 and 58 Cotton.
Track 52 clear the 406.
Now, the reason I pointed out the milepost of Hawk's Nest is because about 2 miles up the railroad from there, on the south side, track 2, is a signal called 406 because it's located at milepost 406. If you're standing at South Fayette around milepost 404, you can hear it. And it's a really nice thing to know when a train is heading your way. Now, I went down here to film an intro to the Things You Don't See Everyday video. But I like to film intros on days where I know I'm going to catch something if I can do it. And that generally means Amtrak days unless you know something's coming. So I went down here and the train was on time. I thought, oh great. Great start to New Year's Eve, right? Catch a train? That'll be great. Well, the train was late leaving Montgomery, and I found out later why. The police had to board the train, and that caused it to be a little bit later. So, a little bit of waiting, and finally he came around the corner. Now, like I said, to me this has already been a pretty good day, right? I got Amtrak, I got my intro done, I'm good. But about 20 minutes after the train had passed, my brother noticed the headlight. At least is what he thought he was, and well, I wasn't going to take a chance on him being wrong, so I scurried back into position and found this coal train. T215. Coal loads from Danville, West Virginia to Newport News, Virginia, taking the C&O the whole way. How cool is this shot? Coal on New River underneath the New River Gorge Bridge. Think about this. That bridge opened in 1977. They've been hauling coal on New River in some form or fashion on the railroad since 1873. For 104 years before that bridge showed up, they've been hauling coal on New River. That's insane. Some 20 minutes after that, and Sarah and I were talking when the scanner lit up again, although I couldn't make any of it out. Another train of coal loads, I assumed for Newport News, but I never did get his ID, so I have no idea. I'm sure it's been done before, but I honestly have never seen a single leader in front of a coal train. That's what caught my eye. I was completely surprised by that. Now, I might not have been able to tell you what this guy was in 2021, but I can tell you what he'll be in the future. CSX is changing some of the letter prefixes in their train symbols. Coal loads will now go from T and N trains to C trains. C trains used to be locals on the Quibbin division. Other notable changes are bulk commodity trains such as ethanol will now be classified as B trains. Coal empties will now only be identified as E trains, eliminating the U designation seen mostly on the old C&O. Locals will now be classified as L trains across all divisions, so around here we'll lose our H prefix. Also prevalent to New River, grain trains will now be labeled as G trains the whole way, loads and empties. No more V for grain empties. How great is it to see the old veterans still in YN2 paint? What a treat this was today. Now let this be a lesson to you if you use your phone for rail fanning. Always bring a charger. I learned CSX 1776, the Armed Forces unit, was heading east on a loaded coal train. So naturally, I wanted to go see it, right? Well, it took its sweet time getting through town, and I didn't have a charger, so I missed out on that. But I did catch this guy, which happened to have CSX 5107, the W. Thomas Rice Special, 3 out of 5. Pretty cool. Now you might be wondering, what's so special about Tom Rice? Well, he's actually one of the more important figures in CSX's history. He was the president of the Seaboard Coastline Railroad, a merger between the Atlantic Coastline and the Seaboard Airline Railroads. The SCL, along with the L&N and the Clinchfield, made up the Family Line system. All railroads were owned by a holding company called Seaboard Coastline Industries, which in 1980 merged with the Chessie system, a holding company that owned the Chesapeake in Ohio, Baltimore in Ohio, and the Western Maryland to form a new holding company called CSX Corporation. Rice was a key figure in that merger. In 1986, Seaboard Coastline Industries officially changed their name to CSX Transportation, and the following year absorbed all the railroads of the Chessie system, with the Chesapeake in Ohio the last to fall on August 31st, 1987. Now I've got one more here for you. After seeing Amtrak's new ALC-42 locomotives entering service on the Empire Builder, it occurred to me the time to get the shots of the current roster is now. So that's exactly what I did. Went down to Thurmond, and this is it. Amtrak 50 rolling through town eastward, and not a single soul in town but me. What a weird, but also kind of enjoyable experience. Just a rail fan, and the train he came for.
Amtrak 146, clear, Thurman. Main 2 now, right.
that was a fun little video, now wasn't it? That was a fun little video. I've been trying to figure out what I was going to do with that stuff I got on New Year's Eve since I got it. I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But thankfully I was able to go out and get the Cotton Hill defect detector, and I got a chance to really tie that in with what I got down at South Fayette. So that was really kind of that was cool. So if you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe down below if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment if you are so inclined. So until next time, somewhere out there on the river, I'm Lucas Berry for White Oak Rail.